Hey YouTube. Hey YouTube, this is Wrestling News from Morgan Fan 62. It is Tuesday, January the 17th. Now, a friend of mine gave me this idea, so I'm going to go along with it. And this is ranking all of the potential buyers for WWE and the pros and cons go with it. So now, first, I'm going to do the big elephant in the room, and that is the Saudi Arabia Sports Authority. I think that's what it is. So now here is the first pro is basically an unlimited checkbook, meaning they can get any star they want. They can do basically whatever within reason they want. Um, so if they wanted to have like special sets for events like Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, stuff like that, they can. Now here's the first pro or the first con of it, and that is basically getting out certain groups of people in the company. Meaning, groups like uh, Tegan Knox and Sonya Deville, they'd probably leave because they are lesbians, um, and typically the Saudis don't like that lifestyle in particular. And then also people like Sami Zayn, Mustafa Ali, and all them because they are half uh, Muslim, they are half Arabic. I think that's what Sammy is. I may be wrong on that one. If so, I'm sorry. But because of that, and then some people like Kevin Owens would follow their friend out of the company. So that is the first con. Now, the next pro in this situation is basically you can have maybe more events or less events that you want, but charge a higher price. So it's going to be up to that. Now, the next con in this situation, and I'm going to hate to say this, is going to be the women's division. How the Saudis treat their women in general is not great. So, what does this mean for the women's division? Either one of two things. I'm not, and I hope neither of these are it. One, most of the women leave because of maybe how they get treated in Saudi or whatever, or some of them leave because of their heritage or whatever. Now, the next pro I will say is this. Um, Probably more shows with maybe special theming and stuff like that. So there's that. Um, Now, the next pro in this situation, too, would be the company would be private, meaning they don't have to look toward a board. They don't have to look toward, pleasing their shareholders and all that jazz. So they can basically be a company like Impact Wrestling or AEW. Now, the next con in this situation could potentially be um, more shows in Saudi Arabia. As of now, they have two shows a year in Saudi Arabia. Typically, one in the spring, winter slash early spring, and then another one typically in the fall. So that could possibly mean like three shows in Saudi Arabia. So that could mean like one in the winter, maybe one in like the summer, and then one in like the fall slash early winter. So It's anybody's guess. Next one is Fox. Now, this one, now, the first thing, if Fox would get it, is you would have both Raw and SmackDown on Fox. Now, the first con of this situation would be Raw in particular, because I don't know how NBC, where the USA Network is on currently, how they would feel about having basically one of their oldest shows go to a competitor. So now the pro, another pro would probably be two, more money, because Fox would just throw this money out toward those type of things. Now, NBC. Now, NBC. Now with NBC, this is the first pro of this would be both Raw and SmackDown would be on USA, like they were before the pre-Fox buyout. Next is now the first con of that would be they would have to figure out how to do that with NXT, because as of now, NXT is taking the place of SmackDown when it was on Tuesday nights. So that would either mean SmackDown would have to get moved to Wednesday or Thursday, and then SmackDown would go in its place, or vice versa. SmackDown could go to Wednesday or Thursday, or stay the same on Friday. Who knows? Now the next thing would be, and this is more of an outside WWE thing. This is the next pro of this situation. Um, you would get more exposure in the like Universal Studios parks, because if you go to Universal Studios during the season or during the year, I should say, they will have stuff because they have a ride for Jimmy Fallon, which is on NBC. Toward Halloween Horror Nights, they have a show, or they have a display for Chucky. Um, it was for the show, but I'm sure, and then of course he is going to be a host, or he's going to be in Halloween Horror Nights this year anyway. Um, and so you get that exposure. Now, I'm not saying they would get their own land or they would get, their own store or something, but you would probably see more of that uh, when you would go into like a Universal Studios resort. So you would probably see posters and stuff like that for maybe an upcoming pay per view, maybe an upcoming Raw or SmackDown, stuff like that. Um, Maybe even NXT in that mix too, because I'd have to look, but I don't think the Performance Center is too far from Universal. So you have that. The next, now the first con of this situation would be you probably wouldn't get as many like Raw and SmackDown pay per views. You would still get the big four, but then I don't know in between how many of the B type pay per views you would get. Now the next pro in this situation would be they would still be on Peacock, NBC's streaming service. Um, now, so that's the next good thing. Um, I don't know how that would work, but we would have to see. Now, the next pro in this situation would be probably the WWE staff, along with the talent, could probably get discounts at like Universal Studios and all that as well. So that is one good thing. Um, now, the next con in this situation would be probably too much overexposure. Um, Similar to like what they do for some of the other stuff, like Chucky, for instance. They would probably overexpose it too much, but and the last pro of this situation would be uh, Mo. You would probably have something with both Universal Studios Florida and Hollywood with it. I don't know. It'd more likely be a Florida thing, uh, since the Performance Center is in Florida and stuff like that. Now, the lastly is this, and this is one of the companies of the UFC. Now, the thing about this would be you would get more out of the sports entertainment aspect of WWE and get more into the UFC style of things. Now, the first pro of this would be it would be considered like an actual sport. Um, as of now, wrestling in general is considered, while it is considered a real sport, um, it's not like uh, the UFC, football, and all them, where it's considered real, like unscripted and all that. Now, the first con of this would be the talent would get hurt easier because they're not used to that sort of punch. Um, the next pro of this would probably be too more money for the talent. Um, so the talent would make more and then probably try and sell that. Now, the next con of this could be too, so stuff like Peacock would go away, and so then they would push their own streaming, either their own streaming service or like the old style pay per view service again. For example, a couple of years ago, when there was a major fight in the summer, don't ask me who, they were wanting like $100 for the fight, or to watch the fight. So they would probably be pushing something like that. Now, the next pro of this situation would be you'd probably get people from the UFC and all them probably on stuff on like Raw and SmackDown. So you'd get people like similar to like Ronda Rousey or Shayna Baszler with that style of background on the show. Now, how a lot of the talent would be, I don't know. Now, the next pro slash con, I should say, in this one would be the incoming new talent that would come in, unless they have a background in it. They would get trained as like UFC fighters than wrestlers. So I want to hear from you. Do you agree and disagree with what I said? Do you have anything to add to what I said? Uh, just please, I'm curious to what you guys think, and let me know down below.